Hey everybody. So the other day I had a community post that I had shown my Nina setup with Robocopy and how I was transferring files over to my Mac. So overnight during my sessions, the image files are automatically copying over to my processing machine. So in the morning when I wake up, I can head over to the machine and my files are there and I don't have to worry about processing, and that's beautiful. So I had asked if anybody was interested in how I did the networking on this and to set up the network file share. And I got a response back that there were some people interested in. So by demand, I am going to go ahead and make this video. So if you're interested in seeing how I set that up, then stick around. My name is Doug, and this is AstroAF. All right, so there's going to be two sides to this story, and that'll be a little bit of configuration on the Mac side, and there'll also be the Windows side where I map the network drive. But I wanted to also discuss some caveats that I ran into that I'm not able to reproduce now that I have actually succeeded in setup. I had some problems, and I was hoping to be able to show you those problems and reproduce them, but they're not happening for me now. So when I get to those places, I'll go ahead and point out what I experienced. That way, if you experience the same kind of thing, then maybe this video will help you. So anyway, let's head on over and I'll start work on the Mac side first. All right, now over on the Mac side, let's say that I want to create a folder that I would like to share with my window machine. I've already done this, and I have this astrophotography folder shared, so I have everything available here. It's also available on my Windows Astro PC. I guess what we could do is maybe create another folder that we could just set up to share. By doing that, if I go into, in this case it's in my pictures directory, I'm going to create like a Astro utility folder here, and we'll make it a share. All right, and it's just an empty folder, and that's fine. So now that I have the folder that I've decided on that I want to share, and you don't have to create a new folder, it can be any folder on your machine that you wish to make available over your network. So then from here, with that folder that I know that I want to create, I want to go into my system settings, and I want to go into general and then sharing. Now, if you haven't done this before, file sharing may be turned off. You'll just need to flip this switch here and turn file sharing on. And then we're going to click on this info button. And what we need to do here is to go ahead and add the folder that we'd like to share. So we'll click on the plus button, and we'll find, here's our Astro utility file folder that we just created, and I'll select that and open. So now if we select Astro Utility, we got to make sure that your user, for me it's Duggar, and we make sure that that user has permissions that we want on this folder. And then while we're here, we need to also notice that up here we have a path for a Samba server that is going to be our path that we're going to use connect. And if you haven't already, in your remote desktop connection to your Windows PC, make sure that you enabled copy and paste across the connection. I select this. Now this is where I had a caveat. When I initially set this up, I could not use this Samba path. It wasn't working. It would not allow me to connect, and Windows would not discover it. So what I ended up doing was going over to my network in my router settings, and I set my IP address for both my Windows computer and my Mac, in this case, to a static IP address so that it was reserved for DHCP. And that makes sure that the IP address of the machines don't change, which I think is important because when you're setting up these networking, the networking configurations, if your IP addresses change, then that can cause problems and it doesn't know where your file shares are. So I made those static IPs on my own network, and then I came back into here, and at that time this changed to my IP address. And now I can't get it to change back to my IP address. It's only staying on this Samba path. So something along that line, once I had configured it, just continues to be this path. So if you are not able to get this path working in your configuration, then try setting up with an IP. And if you do the IP, make sure that you make it a static IP on your router. So anyway, with that in mind, I've got this Samba path, and I'm going to copy that and then just click done. So file sharing is enabled. We'll just do a quick review. The Astro Utility folder is shared, okay, and that's all we need to do here on Mac. So what we want to do is head over and click on your local disk C in my case, and then off the ellipsis menu we're going to add a network location. Go ahead and click next through this, and then we're going to choose a network location, and then here we need to connect to the network address. I should have my original one in here, so in this case we'll go ahead and I can just paste that address that I had in here, but I need to make a change to it, and we'll get rid of that SMB on the front of it and the forward slashes, and let's put a couple backslashes there in front of that, and then let's browse. Now if we wait just a second, this should load up, and it looks like it's there, and then it's going to ask me to log in, and click OK. Okay, and so now we can see my Astro Utility folder is available, and I also have additional areas that are shared here, but with the Astro Utility is the one that I want to share, and then I'll select it and click OK. So we have the path now to Astro Utility, and click next, and I just want to name this location Astro Utility, and click next, and then want to complete the add network location wizard. So I've successfully done it, and we can open the network location when finished. I'm going to unselect that and then click finish. So now that file is now available to me here. Now I don't have any content in it, but what we can do is, let's say I go back, well, I'm in Astro Utility now. So I open up another File Explorer window, and let's just find some arbitrary file here. Here's a fit file. I'm going to copy that, and then let's go over to the Astro Utility folder, and here we'll go ahead and paste it. All right, now if we go back over to the Mac Finder and into the Astro Utility directory, you'll see that fit file is existing here in this folder as well. So now we have that folder that's available to us from both sides of the network. So both the Windows and the Mac are sharing that folder. We can do whatever we wish with it. And in the case of like the astrophotography folder in the nightly file copy, over here, this is where I'll put my session files for the night, because that's shared within the astrophotography. And then I have Astro Utility, and maybe I'll use this for something, I'm not sure. I'll just leave it set up. But anyway, so that's how you do it. And obviously, if you have any questions, hit me up down the bottom. I'm not a network professional, but I can get around a little bit, and I might be able to help you out. To figure this out, I did a bunch of Googling. I ran into those problems. It cost me about an hour just to figure out that I needed to use my IP address instead of that Samba server path. And I don't know why, because now the Samba server path works just fine, as we just saw. Maybe you'll run into that problem, maybe not when your initial setup, but it seems to me that now that I have it set up, that Samba server path works fine. Just initially it was problematic. So I hope this video helps you out, and if you like this video, please leave a like, and a subscribe would be amazing. So thank you very much for watching this video today. My name is Doug, and this is AstroAF.